Okay, guys. So a few of you have done the quiz. So thanks to those that have done the quiz. If you haven't done the quiz, by all means, if you do it and send it to me, I'll have a go at marking it and letting you know. In general, the problems seem to be around group one verbs that finish with ru and group one verbs that finish with just the letter U, just a vowel. So we'll have a look at the quiz just briefly tonight and have a go at a few of them. And hopefully that will start to give you a feel as to how to turn group one verbs into the te form. I can just see David Parker joining, so let's just wait a second for David. Oh dear, all this heat makes me tired. Okay, he was here this morning actually, so he can join when he gets there. Right, so there's the quiz. So I think I gave you in general enough information to be able to complete this. I think there's one or two. Okay, yeah, I think there's one or two which were you could have read either way. But let's have a go at some of these now then. So let's see. Oh, who's in the waiting room now? Oh, Luke as well. All this technology that Dave Parker's got in his bedroom and he can't join a Zoom session.
He looks like a DJ. I don't know if he's doing that.
Yeah. Okay.
I think he's
Would you say
MI6 Zoom session instead?
There's now two of him waiting in the bedroom. Go ahead, Rob.
Can I ask? Would you actually say "atsuku narimashita" talking about now?
Yeah, but
it's become hot.
That's towards the end of today's lesson, though. So we'll get onto that.
Well, that's what really my brain. So good. Okay. Thank you.
We'll get onto that.
That's thank you.
Okay, so let's look at some of these now. So let's look at the first one. So Yoshi, how about number 2? How would you turn miru into the imperative, and which group is it?
So that was miru, mimas, mite.
Good.
That was group 1 verb.
Okay, so it's actually group 2. Now tell me how you would know it was a group 2 verb. Think about the rules for turning group 2 verbs from the infinitive into the present tense. What do you do?
Well, it's not a group 1 verb because it ends on ru.
Good.
If there's an e or an I before the ru, it's group 2. Is that true?
So no, it's not quite consistent. So at the moment, this word miru, if we only had that information, well, that if we didn't know how that converted into the present tense, that could, in theory, if that was a group 1 verb, that could become mirimas. But if you look at the present tense, it goes from miru to mimas. So you can see that all that's happened is the ru has been chopped off and replaced with mas. And this is the definition of group 2 verbs. This is what sets group 2 verbs away from all other verbs. So that would be your clue that this was definitely a group 2. So as it's group 2, you turn it into the imperative. You would get into the te form. Mite, yeah, just one T. Mite.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Good.
Right.
Okay, good. Thanks, Yoshi. By the way, how do you pronounce your name in your country?
It's the same as in Japanese.
Oh, it is Yoshi. Okay.
It is Yoshi, yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. Just checking.
Japanese name.
Okay, right. Okay, thank you. Okay, let's see. Rob, how about number 3, akemasu?
Okay, akemasu is a group 2 verb.
Yeah.
Because it's mas, it becomes akeru, so akete.
Good. Yes, exactly. Akeru, akemasu, akete. Good. Thanks, Rob. Piers, how about number 4, kaku?
Kaku is kakimasu.
Yep.
Kaite.
Good.
And it's group 1.
That's correct. So just looking at the infinitive, how would you tell that that was a group 1?
Because it ends in ku.
Yeah, exactly. So if it was a group 2 verb, it could only end in ru. And if it was a group 3 verb, it can only end in ru as well. So it has to be a group 1 verb. Good. Thanks, Piers. Good. Roger, how about number 5, kikimasu? How would you deal with this one?
Sorry, I just joined.
That's okay.
What am I doing?
We're just going through the verb test.
Okay.
And just having a go at some of these ones. So what I'd like to do is, you can see here number 5 is kikimasu.
Yeah.
I'd like you to tell me how you'd work out what the infinitive was and the imperative and which group that would be.
So take the mass off.
Good.
Start by guessing it's a roux, because I don't know any better.
Okay, so actually, I'll give you a clue then to help. This is actually a group 1 verb. So what would you do now if you knew it was group 1?
You drop it down a vowel in effect. So
Good.
kiku.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Kiku. Good. How do ku verbs turn into the imperative?
They go up. Kikate.
I know. So anything that finishes with ku in the group 1 verbs becomes ite. Ite. So this would become what?
Kite.
Yeah, exactly. Kite. Kite. Good. Yeah, and it's a group 1 verb. Okay, excellent. Thanks, Roger. Luke, let's see. Let's throw you into the viper's nest. Number 7, kaeru, which is a group 1 verb to return.
Kaerimasu.
Yep.
Katte.
Not katte.
Kaite.
Kaite. Yeah, exactly. Kaite. So what I'd like to just point out to you guys, let me just stop sharing this a second and go on to another share, onto another screen. This one just here. So I'm going to just emphasize something then. Just do that and turn the pointer on. That the ones which are in red are the ones which most people had some problems with. So the ones which are only a vowel or end in su or end in ru. Now this one in particular, kaeru, we have to be a little bit careful of, because there is a group 1 verb, kaeru, meaning return, and there's a group 2 verb pronounced kaeru, which means to change, as in the phrase kaewaza, kaewaza in the Ido. But kaeru would change to kaerimasu, and kaeru from group 2 would change to, what would it change into, Luke? If you turned kaeru into the mass form, if it was group 2. You there, Luke? Oh, you're muted at the moment.
Kaimasu.
Yes, kaimasu. And the imperative?
The group
for group 2.
2.
Yes,
group 2.
Yeah.
Kaite.
Kaite, yes, just a short single bounce, kaite, kaite. But group 1, these 3 which are difficult, they all become te, e. So it's this double bounce, te. So kaite, kaite. So aimasu, to meet, would become ate. It's a double bounce, ate. Matsu, this means to wait. This also becomes double T, so it's mate, mate. Okay. So let's go back to the quiz for a second. We'll do a few more of these just to get warmed up. Who else have we got? Sorry, give me a second, guys. Kim, how about kuru, number 8?
8. Kuru, kuru, kuru. I made kimas.
Yes.
Made of it.
Yes, exactly.
Kimas and then kite.
Yes, good.
The group 3 verb.
It is, yeah. So this is the group 3. Yeah, exactly. Beware, there is also a group 1 verb, kuru, which becomes a phrase in Jodo, actually, which is kuri hanashi and kuritsuke. This means to reel, to twist around. So only by seeing that we knew that what the translation was to come, that we would know that was a group 3 verb. Yeah, yes. Good. That's Kim. Tom, how about number 10, kite?
Because the root changed in mas, It's verb group 2.
So number 10, this is, remember?
To cut is kivu.
Yep, good.
So because it has a double T, it's group 1.
Excellent.
So the vowel will change, so it would be kirimas.
Excellent, good. Yes, exactly. Group 1 verb. Excellent. Well done, Tom. Paya, how about number 11, to thrust? You're muted at the moment.
Skuru.
Not skuru.
Skeru.
Not skeru, because that
Gu.
skeru would be group 2. So it's a group 1 verb. So what do you think this would be?
Tsuku.
Tsuku. Yes, exactly. Tsuku. Yeah.
Tsukimasu.
Good. Yes.
Tsukite.
Not skite. So remember, ku verbs, group 1 verbs that finish with ku. The ku is replaced with ite. Ite. So it would be
Tsukite.
not skite. Ku would be completely removed. Cut off the ku.
Tsuite.
Suite. Exactly. Suite. Good. Yes, exactly. Sku, skimas, suite. Excellent. Joel, how about number 15? Ite, to say.
So the infinitive would be iu.
Good.
The present tense imas.
Excellent.
The imperative, and the group would be group 1.
Yes, exactly. Good, good. Perfect. Yeah. And so this would be only a voiced exception. If you were vocalizing it, you might say yute, but if you write it, it has to be written as ite. Good.
Excuse me.
Kim. Yeah, go ahead, Kim.
Is the present tense, is that ite imas with a double I?
It is, exactly.
It is.
Imas. Yeah, exactly that.
So you pronounce it a little bit longer.
Yes. Yeah, good. So yeah, I said this to this morning's group actually, to be clearly understood, so that whoever's listening to you who might be Japanese doesn't go, huh? Like this. It's really good idea to clearly pronounce all the long vowels completely long. So imas, imas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good. Yeah, no problem.
Andy, very quick
Piers.
one. Would you spell that Y-U-T-E in Romanized? Ute.
So you wouldn't actually spell it. It's only a vocalized difference. But if you wanted to sort of make a note of it, it would be I-U-double-T-E.
Oh, Ute.
Yeah, Ute. Yeah. But if you're writing down imas, then you'd have to use the ite. Yeah. Okay, let's see. What else we got? So Zhao, Ed, how about number 16? Yobimas.
It is yobu,
Good. Yep. Exactly.
which is probably to read, but could be
So
wrong.
actually, it's so on this one. It's very close to read. It's actually to call. To call.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I should know that because I think one of the questions from the earlier sections was that I got asked was yobimas.
It was, yeah, about calling me. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's easy to confuse with yomimas.
Are you trying to hint that I'm a nuisance caller?
On next caller, please.
So yobu, yobimas, and yoite.
Not yoite. I realise that it's. Let me just share a different screen with you. A second. Another one. That one. So this belongs to this purple group. So anything that ends with nu, bu, or mu, all finish with unde. Unde. So we chop off the last syllable completely. So the nu, the bu, and the mu disappears and is replaced with unde. So this would be what?
Yonde.
Yeah, exactly. Yonde. Good. Bring it back. There we go. Yonde. Good. And
Which is the irregular group.
yes, the regular group. Yeah, but which one? 1 or 2? Do you remember?
Two.
Ah, it could only be one or two, and you got the wrong one. So it's group one actually. Yeah. So always think that group one verbs are the number one hardest verbs. When you think verbs, you think difficult. Group one is the hardest. So
That's the irregular one, right?
no. So I know it feels like it should be irregular because it's so complicated, but group one and group two are both called regular, and it's group three which are called irregular because they change. Even though the two group three verbs are in the same group, they change completely differently to each other. They're a pair of exceptions to everything else, so they will change completely differently. That's why they're called irregular. Yeah, but it's group one. It's a group one. And what do we say that was? What the translation was?
To call.
To call. Yeah, exactly.
Call me, baby.
Call me. Good. Okay. Thanks, Ed. And Pet, how about number 19, shimas?
So shimas, I think it's the same as the yobimas type. So the imperative form should be shinde.
Ah, sorry. No. So actually, there are two group three irregular verbs, and you just have to know them. One of them is kuru, to come, and the other one is, well, it's shimas. But what would be the infinitive if the present tense is shimas? So kuru, not shiru, but so kuru became kimas. So shimas would become
shiru.
Suru.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the imperative?
And the imperative is not.
Have a guess.
I don't know.
It's shte. So
shte,
yeah.
Yeah.
So both group two and group three, when we make the te form, we chop off the mass. That's the easiest way to remember it. Chop off the mass and put te on at the end. Shte. Yeah. And do you remember what translation this was? What this means?
Yeah, I forgot.
Ah, okay. It's to do. So it's to do anything. To do. Yeah. Good. Okay, no problem. Let's see. What else we got? Wayne, how about number 22? To stand.
The infinitive is tatsu.
Good.
And the present tense is tachimasu.
Excellent.
And the imperative is tate.
Good.
Tate.
Which means yes. Good.
To stand.
Yeah.
One.
Group one. Exactly. Good. Yeah. Very good. Excellent. Okay. Max, how about number 23? You're muted at the moment, Max.
Is it just norimas?
Good. Yeah, norimas. Good.
And then norite.
One more time.
Norite?
No. So think about how. Take a model group one verb. Let's use kaeru, to go home. Kaeru became kaete. So we chopped off the ru and put the hard double T E at the end. So this also a group one verb. Notte, exactly. Yeah, notte. And so which group would this logically be?
Group one.
Yeah, group one. And do you remember what this means?
I don't remember that one, no.
Okay, so this means to get on, like to get on a bus. Norimas.
Oh, I've just done this in one of my other classes as well.
Never mind. Okay, David, how about oriru? Oriru.
Oriru. So ends in ru. So I'm going to assume that's group two.
It is indeed.
Oriru. Orimas.
Good.
Ote?
So think about how you
turn. That's group
two.
one.
Yeah.
Orite.
Orite. Good. And do you remember what this means?
What it is to fold, I think.
No, that's the group
No.
1 version of oru. Yeah.
It's
So norimasu is to get on. Therefore,
to exit, to get off.
To get off. Yeah, orimasu. Good. Yeah, to get off. Good. Okay, let's see. Sorry, it's difficult to see everybody's face when we still see the page as well. Joseph, how about number 28, hairimasu?
Hairimasu, hairu.
Good, hairu, yep.
Haite.
Yeah, good, haite. And which group would this be?
It would be the first.
Good, yeah, group 1. And do you remember what this means?
Hairu, to enter.
Yes, good, to enter. So hairu, hairimasu, haite, group 1 to enter. Good, excellent. Paya, you've done one already, haven't you? Yes. Yeah, you have. So Elena, I think you're the last one. Are you with us, Elena? Hi. So Elena, how about number 29, hiraite? Hiraite. Elena, I can't hear your voice, but I can hear some horrible background noise. Elena, try removing your earphones from the computer for a second and then plug them back in again. Take the earphones out of the PC and put them back in again. There we go.
Can you hear me now?
That's perfect. Yeah, good. Okay,
Yeah,
so
hiraimasu. Hiraimasu?
Not hiraimasu. So I'll give you a clue.
forgot.
This is a group
Yeah.
1 verb. It's a group 1 verb.
Forgot. Hirairu? No, I forgot.
Okay, so the only way to look at this, guys, is to see that the ending is ite, to give you a little bit of a clue. So this would mean that the ending would be hiraku. So that's the only group 1 verb
hiraku.
that finishes with ite. So hiraku. So Elena, what would be the mass form?
Hiraimasu. Hiraite.
No, hiraku. So
no,
for
hiraku.
group,
Hirakimasu.
yes,
Hirakimasu.
hirakimasu. Good. Yes, exactly. Hirakimasu. Which
Sorry,
means it's. I told you it's
hirakimasu.
group 1. And do you remember what this one means?
No.
Hiraki.
No.
So it means to open in both directions. So like
Oh, yeah,
spreading.
yeah, yeah. 窓を開いてください. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
窓.
Yeah. Good. Okay. While you're here, Elena, let's do the last one as well. Iku. Iku.
行く、行きます、行って.
Good. And what group is it? Do you remember?
The first group?
Yeah, group 1. And it means
To go.
to go. Good. Yeah. So this is the principal exception in the group 1 verbs, that as it's iku, it should in principle be ite, but it's pronounced ite. So it's the one exception.
Ite.
Yeah. Good. Thanks, guys. I think I just saw some more people coming in. Let's see if they arrived. Hang on. Oh God, how do I? Okay, I'm going to stop sharing a second because I've now got a screen that I can't see. Oh, there we go. Okay, good. I know that the verbs are quite hard work. All I can recommend is that you practice things like verb quizzes to help you get used to putting them in the right groups and change them in the right way.
Andy, can I interrupt you for a sec?
Of course.
If you go to number 19, because it's a group 3 verb, suru, does it become double te, shite?
No. So shite and shimas and kimas, to do and to come. These are the two group 3 verbs. These both become just a single t, shite and kite.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Tuche. Hello, hello. Is it just one of you this evening?
Sorry?
Is it just one of you this evening?
I think he will be coming. He just returned back from his job.
Oh, okay, cool.
And so, by the way, just a question. Isn't it starting 7:30?
No, the start time's 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock UK time. So That's probably 7 o'clock your time, I think, isn't it?
Okay, I confused the time. That's why I'm late. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. No problem. That's okay. So what time is it on? It's 11 o'clock in the morning, UK time, 12 o'clock the rest of Europe, and it's 7 o'clock European time.
Yeah, 7
for the evening. Yeah, cool. Okay, good. Any questions, guys? We will, of course, be in our conversations as we go forwards. We're going to be doing transformation of verbs because this is how you speak. So don't worry too much if it's not completely clear now. But what I would point you towards, what you should really have imprinted on the inside of your eyelids, is this screen. Just a second. That screen should be, oh, sorry. That screen should be written on the inside of your eyelids because this is the hardest part of Japanese grammar. So if you can remember this, or even just remember one example from each column, then you will find it easier going forwards. Okay, right. So what I'd like to do today, the main objective, is to master E adjectives in the various ways which they change. So let me just share another screen with you. That one, and then let's go down to this page. Okay, so as I think most of you probably got a preview of this last week, E adjectives are one of the two types of adjectives. There are E adjectives and Na adjectives. E adjectives look like this. So each adjective consists of a stem, which never changes, the beginning part, atsu, samu, haya, oso, oki, and chisa, and then the changeable part, this E at the end. This is what makes it an E adjective. So if I wanted to say today is hot, I would say kyou wa atsui desu. So I just put atsui and then des to say it is. Kyou wa atsui desu. So Rob, how would you say tomorrow will be cold? Tomorrow is cold.
Tomorrow will be cold.
Yeah.
Okay. Ashita wa ashita wa
just really simply. Just really simply. Go ahead, sorry.
All right. Ashita wa samui desu.
Yeah, ashita wa samui desu. Good, good. That's all I want to hear. Good. So these are fairly easy to use. Now, I'm going to just stop sharing for a second because I want to have your attention, guys. In English and probably in your own languages as well. Let's take this example. This phone is small. This phone is small. This is a small phone. Okay. So I can say this two ways in English, at least two ways. I can say, this is a small phone. So I put the adjective before the noun. Yeah. これは小さい携帯です。これは小さい携帯です。This is a small phone. Okay. これは小さい携帯です。And I could also say, this phone is small. So X equals Y. この携帯は小さいです。この携帯は小さいです。This noun is adjective. Okay, so that's fairly simple to understand in English and probably lots of other languages as well. And we can do the same thing in Japanese, as I just did. これは小さい携帯です or この携帯は小さいです。Okay, so let's see. Yoshi, can you pick something up from your desk? Is that a bottle?
Yes.
Okay, so do you know the word for bottle?
Hoteru?
Hoteru.
Boteru?
Boteru. Actually, nowadays, if it's plastic, they call them peto bottle. Peto bottle desu. But the normal word for bottle is bin.
Bin.
Yeah. So how would you say this is a small bottle?
この瓶は小さいです。
Yeah, which was what you actually said was this bottle is small, which is fine. What's the other way of saying it though, just as an exercise?
In wa chisai desu?
Oh, kono bin wa yeah, exactly. Kono bin wa chisai desu. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
So, okay, Kim, have you got something to pick up? Oh, purse. Let's call it a saifu. Let's assume it's a wallet, shall we? Saifu. So this is a small saifu. Dozo. Oh, sorry, you're muted at the moment, Kim.
There we go. これは財布小さいです。
So put the adjective. So what you're doing now is saying これは, so this thing, and then you're saying small wallet. So do it the same order.
これは小さい財布です。
Good. Yeah. これは小さい財布です。And then how would you say this wallet is small? This wallet is small.
この財布は小さいです。
Yeah, good. この財布は小さいです。Good. Excellent. Let's do one more. Tom, have you got something you can pick up and wave around? Is that a book?
Yes.
Okay. So let's call that book big. So this is a big book.
これは大きい本です。
Good. And this book is big.
この本は大きいです。
Good. この本は大きいです。Or これは大きい本です。Excellent. Guys, is there any, I think this is fairly elementary and quite easy to absorb, isn't it? We're almost literally translating word for word an English sentence into a Japanese one. Any problems, guys? Okay. Tucci, I'm going to grab you as you arrived a bit late and just give you one little question. So can you pick something up from your desk? Is there something on your desk you can pick up? Pen. Okay. So this is, I'm going to call that a blue pen. And the word blue is aoi. 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 So can you say this is a blue pen?
これはこれは青いペンです。
これは青いペンです。And then how would you say this pen is blue?
このペンは青いです。
Good. Yeah, exactly. このペンは青いです。Good. Excellent. Thank you. Okay, that's the easy bit done of e-adjectives. Now let's get into torturing our brains, shall we? Okay, so unlike everything else, for example, you probably remember at the beginning of our lessons, we did a kind of self-introduction where I said, 今日は私はイギリス人ですが、昨日はフランス人でした. So I'm an Englishman today, but yesterday I was French. But we can't use this deshita or dewa arimasen for negative when we're using e-adjectives. We mark the polarity, the positive or negative, and the tense by the e-adjective. Now, this has got the possibility of becoming very complicated, so we'll keep things really simple at the moment. We'll just use this form of using the e-adjective to say whether or not it is negative or in the past. So, as I said, each of these adjectives is made up of an unchangeable stem, atsu, and this bit at the end is going to change. So if I want to say it's not hot, I remove the e completely and put kunai at the end, and then put des. It's always going to be des. It's never going to be dewa arimasen or deshita or dewa arimasen deshita. It's going to be des at the end. Okay, we're going to mark the description of the item using the adjective. So kunai is the key word that you need to remember. Kunai, atsu kunai des. Okay, where were we up to? Kim, Tom, Joel, have you got something you can grab from the desk? A book. Okay, so I'd like you to say this book is not small. This book is not small.
この本は小さくないです。
Good. この本は小さくないです. Now, how would you also say this is a small book?
This is a small book.
Yes.
これは小さい本です。
Good. And then how would you say this is not a not small book? This is a not small book.
これは小さくない本です。
Yes, good, good, excellent. So the point I'm trying to make, guys, this is the important thing to remember, is that when we make the negative form of the adjective, you can see it's got a little e at the end. So what we're actually doing is creating a new e adjective. So chisakunai, not small, is in itself an e adjective. Okay, and this is going to be important in about 5 minutes time. Okay, let's see. Ed, have you got something you can grab? Not your pregnant wife either. Cushion. Okay, so this is in Japanese. This is zabuton. 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 Sorry.
Soft furnishing.
Actually, I think you can probably say cushion. That would also be understood. But let's learn Japanese. So it's zabuton. How would you say this is a big cushion? This is a big cushion.
これは大きい座布団です.
Good. And then how would you say this is not a small cushion? Or this is a unsmall cushion?
So large.
No. Not large. Unsmall.
これは小さくない座布団です.
Perfect. Yeah. これは小さくない座布団です. Brilliant. Well done. Good. Petr, have you got something you can grab? Ah, sensu. Sensu. Okay. So I won't use the word pretty. We'll introduce a new adjective for beautiful, which is, do you know what this word is? Beautiful in Japanese?
Kawaii.
Oh, okay. That's not bad. It means cute, but the word cute, beautiful is utsukushi. Utsukushi. Yes. So how would you say this is a beautiful fan? So fan is sensu. Sensu.
このセンスは美しいです。
美しい。
美しいです。
Yes, good. このセンスは美しいです. And then how would, if you want, I know this isn't a fact, but if you wanted to say this is a not beautiful fan, then you'd say
この選手は美くないです。
Nearly. So it's utsukushi, and it becomes utsukushikunai.
Utsukushikunai.
Yeah, good. So can you say the whole sentence one more time?
この選手は美しくないです。
Good. この選手は美しくないです。Yeah. Good. Okay. Excellent. Well done, Petra. That is a bit of a mouthful.
Sorry.
Elena.
Can I ask you? Yeah. Can I ask about this word utsukushi? Is it just about things or about people? So because
you can use it for both. Yeah. So
can
if
we
you're
use the word kirei?
Yeah, we can, but that's a na adjective, and I want to use
yes.
I want to do e adjectives today.
Okay.
So
okay.
I would have used. Normally, you would say kirei about a fan, but that's na.
Yeah. Okay. Understand.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Can I just check with that word for kind of writing with my notes and doing hiragana? I take it it's utsukushi.
That's exactly correct.
Okay.
Utsukushi. Yeah. Good.
Right, cool.
Good question. Yeah. Okay. Guys, I think that's fairly simple, isn't it? No problems with negative form of the adjective? Okay, let's move on because we're going to do something very similar. So we've done the negative. Now let's do the past if something's in the past. So in this case, we remove the e completely and we put katta at the end. Katta, katta. So if I wanted to say yesterday was hot, I would say kino wa atsukatta desu. Kino wa atsukatta desu. You can note that this is a double T again, so it's atsukatta, atsukatta. Okay, katta, katta, katta. So Wayne, how would you say last month was cold? Last month was cold.
先月は寒かったです。
Good. 先月は寒かったです. Excellent. Thanks, Wayne. Max, the word for expensive, and also it's also the same word for tall or high, like a building, is takai. Takai. How would you say last year travel was expensive? So travel is ryoko. Ryoko.
Ryoko.
Yeah.
Okay.
Last year travel was expensive.
Trying to remember year and travel.
Oh, okay. So this is not quite the same as the way that we say last week or last month. It's kyonen. Kyonen. Kyonen.
So kyonen no ryoko wa
good.
Takakatta desu.
Yeah, good. Kyonen no ryoko wa takakatta desu. Excellent. Okay, guys, let me just have your attention for a second while you're furiously writing down notes. So what Max just said was kyonen no ryoko. So this means the travel of last year, which is a very neat way of saying the travel last year. So again, in English, I could say last year travel was expensive. But you can hear that there's a comma after last year. Last year, travel was expensive. Or I could say last year's travel was expensive. And this exactly the same thing happens in Japanese as well. You can say kyonen ryoko wa takakatta desu. Or as Max said, kyonen no ryoko wa takakatta desu. Okay, so this is a really slick way, a really smooth way of not putting big pauses in your sentences to say, look, I'm talking about last year. You can say kyonen no ryoko wa takakatta desu. Tom.
Can we also use the ga as a comma? Kyoga?
Kyonen ga? No, not really. In fact, if you were at that particular position in the sentence, if you say kyonen ga, it makes it sound more like but. So it would make the person think, oh, are you saying something? You're about to say something
different then.
Yeah, yeah. So kyonen wa would be fine. Kyonen wa ryoko ga takakatta desu. But kyonen by itself or kyonen no ryoko would be best.
Okay.
Good. Okay, Luke.
Andy? Yeah. You say oryoko. You make it honorific?
Actually, I think ryoko cannot be made honorific with o or go. It's one of those words which I've never heard anybody honorificize.
Yeah. So is it ryoko or oryoko?
Just ryoko.
Ryoko. Okay, then yeah. I misheard.
Okay, Luke, while you're here, you're actually next. So how would you say last month? Oh, so the word for cheap is yasui. 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 How would you say last month food was cheap? Last month food was cheap.
Sengetsu, this last month food was cheap. Tabemono wa yasui katta desu.
Not yasui katta, but just
yasukata.
Yes, good. Yasukata
desu.
Yeah, excellent. Sengetsu tabemono wa yasukatta desu. Guys, can you put your hands up if you've never heard tabemono before? Because we can go over it. Tabemono. Who doesn't know tabemono? Good. Okay, so you all know nomimono as well, right? Nomimono? Okay, good. So you guys have been studying clearly. Okay, good. Thanks, Luke. Let's do one more. David, how about last month's bus was fast? Last month's bus was fast.
先月のバスは早かったです。
Perfect. 先月のバスは早かったです. Excellent. Good. Thanks, David. Cool. Guys, are you okay with past tense adjectives? You can see it works pretty much the same as kunai. You don't change des, you just say something and then just change the adjective to say whether or not it's negative or the past. Okay, let's move on. One more step. So, as I said, kunai, making the negative of the adjective, creates a new e adjective. So to turn it into the past negative, we take the negative form and simply knock off the I and put katta. So we get the stem of the form, the stem of the adjective, and put kunakatta des. Kunakatta des. So we've had kunai, katta, kunakatta. Kunai, katta, kunakatta. Yeah. Okay, so if I wanted to say yesterday was not cold, yesterday was not cold, I would say kino wa samuku nakatta desu. Kino wa samuku nakatta desu. Yosh. Tsugi wa dare desho? Piers, how would you say last week was not cold?
先週は寒くなかったです。
Good. 先週は寒くなかったです. Excellent. Thanks, Piers. Roger, how would you say last week's party was not cheap? Last week's party was not cheap.
先週のパーティーは安くなかったです。
Perfect. 先週のパーティーは安くなかったです. Excellent. Thanks to Roger. Joseph, how about you? Let's do something more challenging, shall we? Let's add some more words. Because I think you probably know these words anyway. How would you say? Let's start off with. How would you say? Last year was very hot. Last year was very hot.
去年はとても暑かったです。
Excellent. 去年はとても暑かったです. So here we have this new superlative, totemo, which means very. Totemo, in the positive sense, in the affirmative sense, it was very, very hot.
超暑かった。
Yeah, exactly. 超暑かったな。すげえ暑かったな。Sure, どうぞ。
Can you also use nakanaka?
Yeah, you can. So this means a bit. It was a bit, okay. A little bit hot.
A little bit.
Yeah, nakanaka. It was. It's a bit like saying it was considerably hot. Nakanaka atsukatta desu. Yeah.
The cho would also be good.
One more time.
Cho.
Cho. You've been watching Miku-san. You can say cho, but if you say it to somebody who's over 60 years old, they're liable to look at you in a strange way and say, I'm not a teenager, you know. So cho is a relatively recent piece of Japanese, and it comes from kind of teenager talk, like pop talk. It's become slightly more absorbed into Osaka ben, into Osaka dialect, but it's not quite fully absorbed into 90-year-old people in Tokyo. So you can use it with friends, but I would advise caution when using it with other people.
So Totomo would be the best.
So Totomo is, as Miku-san said, it's very polite, it's very formal, but at the moment I would prefer it if you guys spoke formal Japanese, because we can make it informal really easily. We can just throw in a few easy things like cho, suge, This is easy, but speaking really polite Japanese is a little bit more challenging. So let's work on that first. I don't completely agree with Miko-san that totemo is only good for written Japanese. It's not true. I do hear in Tokyo, the middle to older generation people saying totemo. Yeah. But she's from Osaka. She's an Osaka chick. Yeah. Joseph, so let's now do, how would you say, last year was not very hot. Last year was not very hot. Remember, not very.
去年はあまり暑くなかったです。
Perfect. 去年はあまり暑くなかったです。So if we want to say it was not very, we can't say totemo because this is supposed to be for the affirmative. We would use amari, amari, and then the negative form of the adjective, amari. So if I wanted to say this is not a very big phone, then Paya, what would I say? This is not a very big phone.
これはあまり大きくない携帯電話です。
Perfect. Well, that's long. あまり、これはあまり大きくない携帯電話です。Good. Excellent. Perfect. Good stuff. Let's see. Elena, oh, sorry, actually, Paya, let's do a past tense one as well. Paya, how would you say, last year's travel was not very expensive? Last year's travel was not very expensive.
先週の
that's last week. Paya. 去年の旅行はあまり高くなかったです。 Perfect. 去年の旅行はあまり高くなかったです。Excellent. Well done. Elena, how would you say, have you got something that you can hold up that's on the desk actually? Is that a hat?
Boshi. Boshi.
Okay, can you pick up something else as well, please? Can you pick something else as well? So we'll have the boshi.
Well.
Yeah. On. Okay, so how about this is a small book, but it's not a very, hang on, sorry. This is a big book, but it is not, but this is not a very big hat.
この本は大きいです。でも、母子はあまり大きくないです。
Oh, good, good, good. Yeah. So you use demo. So this is, you can use this in this context, demo. This means although. But if you wanted to just say but, how would you?
Ga.
Yeah. So can you say that sentence one more time, please?
この本は大きいですが、母子はあまり大きくないです。
Perfect. この本は大きいですが、この母子はあまり大きくないです。Really good. Thanks, Elena. Okay, Tuche. Do you have something you can hold up for me? Newspaper. Okay, newspaper. Okay, so newspaper. Do you know the word for newspaper?
Don't remember.
Okay, it's shimbun. Shimbun. Yeah. So how about, Tuche, I'm going to give you two new pieces of vocabulary.
Okay.
So one is new, which is atarashi.
Right.
Okay. And do you know the word for interesting?
Omoshiroi.
Excellent. Omoshiroi. So how would you say, this newspaper is new, but it's not very interesting?
この新聞は新しいですけれども、面白くないです。
Oh, perfect. Really good. この新聞は新しいdid you say kedo?
けれども。
けれども. Okay, good. けれどもあまり面白くないです. Good. Yeah. So we're now starting to learn lots of new ways of saying but or although. So the one that Tucci used was the most polite way of saying although, which is keredomo, keredomo, keredomo. Okay, just to demonstrate that you can increase the politeness of Japanese or decrease it by just chopping pieces out of your sentence. Let's look at this word. This is just a slight diversion, guys. Kere is one word, and domo is another word. Keredomo. So to make it less polite, to make it more casual, you can chop off the re, so you can say kedomo, and you can chop off the mo and say kedo, or you could chop off just the re and say kedomo, or keredo. So just by chopping off the ends of those two words, you can increase or reduce the politeness of your sentence. Keredomo would be the most polite, and kedo would be the most informal, would be the most casual. Good, good. Emmanuel, ready for a go? Okay. Yeah. Okay, let's do the newspaper. Let's do it the other way around. Let's say this newspaper is not new, but it's interesting.
Okay. この新聞は it's not new.
Yes, not new.
Okay. Ashi became Atarashi Kunai.
Good.
Hai detto, you said it's not interesting.
It's not, sorry, it's not new, but it is interesting. Okay. It is interesting.
Atarashi Kunai, demo, omoshiroi desu.
Good, okay. Atarashi Kunai demo, omoshiroi desu. So, I know that there's some people who are now getting a little bit confused because we're throwing in lots of new vocabulary. Actually, we can revert back to the very standard Japanese sentence structure that we were using before. So this sentence that Emmanuel just said, if you wanted to say it very politely and carefully and cleanly, you would say, Kono shimbun wa atarashikunai desu ga omoshiroi desu. So this is a very polite way of saying it, very simple. We're not using any complicated vocabulary. So don't be worried, guys, if you don't know all of this vocabulary. I'm happy if you can say it in the standard sentence structure. So, kono shimbun wa amari atarashikunai desu ga omoshiroi desu. This would be absolutely fine. Yeah, good. Okay, is everybody feeling fairly comfortable with this? You will have this. I've put a document on the Facebook group that explains kunai and kata and kunakata. So if you just use the standard Japanese sentence, you won't make a mistake. It sounds very polite and very formal, but at the moment, that's fine. That's fine. We can make our sentences more fluid a bit later on. Okay, last objective for today is to look at adverbs, which I'm about to show you. Okay, so we've done kunai, we've done kata, we've done kunakata. To make an adjective into an adverb, to describe the way in which we are doing something, we chop off the e again and put ku, ku, ku. Okay, really simple, ku. So, Yoshi, how would you say, tomorrow I will go very early to Tokyo. Very early to Tokyo.
Tomorrow I will go very early to Tokyo. Ashita wa watashi ashita wa Tokyo ni to go.
To go is ikimasu.
Ikimaku.
You're just making up a new language as we go.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so just like a little bit like English, the most simple way to see it is to put the adverb just before the verb. So, for example, if I was to say this sentence I just said, it would be I will quickly go, or I will earlily go. So in that order, どうぞ。
明日は and then ikimasu.
Not ikimasu, but the adverb first. So hayai is early. Hayai. And then turn this in. Yep, good.
Hayaku Tokyo ni ikimashita.
No, it's tomorrow, so it's ikimashita would be I went, but how would you say tomorrow? I will go would be
ikimasu.
Ikimasu, yeah.
Ikimasu.
Good. So can you say the sentence one more time?
明日は早く東京に行きます。
Good, yeah. 明日は早く東京に行きます. Good. Thanks, Yoshi. Rob, how would you say, please go to Paris early tomorrow. Please go to Paris early tomorrow.
明日パリに、no, 明日早くパリに行ってください.
Yeah. In fact, the order you said at the beginning would have been absolutely fine.
Yeah.
You can say 明日パリに早く行ってください or 明日早くパリに行ってください. You can put the details in the middle, the information stuff, in any order you like, really. It's not a bad idea to put the adverb before the verb, but it's not a fixed rule. It's only a good way to keep things in order of your mind. Yeah. Good. Okay. Thanks, Rob. Kim, how would you say last week's bus went to Hokkaido really quickly, very quickly?
Last week's bus.
Last week's bus went to Hokkaido very quickly.
Senshu, last week's bus. Senshu no basu. To
let's do an easy bit. To Hokkaido.
To Hokkaido. Hokkaido ni.
Yep, good. And then quickly.
So, quickly was hayaku.
Good. And it went.
It went. No idea.
So ikimasu is to go.
To go.
So the past tense of ikimasu would be
ikimasu.
That's the future tense.
Ikimashita.
Ikimashita. Yes, good. So can you say the sentence one more time, please?
Okay. Senshu no basu wa hold on. What was it? Hokkaido?
It was Hokkaido, but I don't care really. You can be going to Mars if you like.
Hokkaido ni hayaku ikimashita.
Good. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Senshu no basu wa Hokkaido ni hayaku ikimashita. Good. Tom. So I know that you've done a few lessons this week, so I can throw you under the bus slightly. How would you? Okay, so you remember the word for. Actually, let's move on to good. So, guys, I need your attention just for a second. So you might remember that good was e, but we should also remember another way of saying good is yoi. Now, the reason for this is that if we're turning good into the negative, we don't say ikunai, we say yokunai. And then Tom, how would you say it was good? It was good.
Yokukata.
Not yokukata, but just simply.
Yokukunai desu.
No. So yoi is the adjective.
Yeah.
And then past tense would be.
Past tense would be yokukata.
Not yokukata.
No, it's past.
yoku is well, but the actual adjective is only yoi. So chop off the e.
Yokata.
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 So this is a really good phrase to remember, guys. Yokatta des. Yokatta des. That means it was good, or thank God for that, or brilliant, something's good happened. You would say yokatta des. Yokatta des. Yeah, it's fine. Yokatta des. So, and then if we wanted to say it's not good, we would say yokunai. If we wanted to say it was not good, so past tense negative, what would you say, Tom?
Yokunakata desu.
Yokunakata desu.
Yokunakata desu.
Yeah. Okay, so as well as e and yoi meaning good, it also means when we use the adverb, which is yoku, so yoku can mean to do something well, but it also means often. So Tom, how would you say next month, please train Iaido often?
Raigetsu Iaido o yoku Iaido o shite kudasai.
Perfect. Yeah. Oh, I think we've lost Wayne. Hang on a second. Give me a second. Could be that Wayne's house has just exploded. Just going to see what he said. Oh, but Facebook's too slow. I'll come back to it. Yes, good. Yeah. Raigetsu yoku iaido no keiko o shite kudasai. Good. And Joelle, how would you say? So, do you remember the word to make? You might have had this one already. Okay. So, if you're making something out of wood or metal, you would use these little metal things called screws. Screws. And the Japanese word to make sounds very similar. It's tsukuru. 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 So this is group one verb, tsukuru. So the mass form of tsukuru would be what?
It's group one, so it would be tsukurimasu.
Yeah, good. Tsukurimasu. And the te form?
Tsukutte.
Yeah, good. Tsukutte. Tsukutte. So how would you say you made dinner very well? You made dinner very well. So dinner, you might know. Bangohan. Good. Yes.
Bangohan yoku tsukurimashita.
Yeah, good. Bangohan o yoku tsukurimashita. Bangohan o yoku tsukurimashita. Excellent. Ed, how would you say? Actually, Ed, I'm going to make you answer the first question of this final section we're going to do. Let me just share the screen with you again.
Oh, there's no established pattern.
I know, it's like randomness, right? So, so we've used ku to make an adverb. And the other way that we can use this ku is to talk about how something is changing to becoming more something. So what we would do is we would use the adjective ku and then put narimasu. So this is maybe a new verb for some of you guys, narimasu. This is a group one verb. So it would be naru. Naru means to become, to become. And you may already know this from Iaido because this is the naru of the word sashinari. Sashinari, this is nari, narimasu. So if I wanted to say, Ed, let me use you. If you were to say tomorrow will become hot, tomorrow will become hot, how would you say this?
Ashta
Oh, okay. So this is the word for warm. That's fine. How about hot, though, meaning unpleasantly hot? So remember, the word hot is atsui.
Yeah. So ashta.
So are you breaking up breaking up a bit. Can you say that again, Ed?
明日に、暑くなります。
Good, yeah. So you don't need ni. You can just say 明日は暑くなります or 明日暑くなります。暑くなります。Good. Pet, how would you say next month will become cold? Next month will become cold.
来月は寒くなります。
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's it. Perfect. Yeah, good. 来月寒くなります。来月寒くなります。As easy as this. It's as easy as this. Max. Yeah. No.
Can you say 暑くになります になる?
You don't need ni. So ku is already indicating a direction in which way, in the way something is changing. So ku is like saying li in English, so hotly or quickly. So it's hotly changing. It means it's going towards hotter. Yeah. So you don't need ni, just ku. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Max, how would you say this year travel has become expensive?
The present for year, because I know it's nen for year. But
so this year is kotoshi. Yeah.
Right. So kotoshi ryoku wa
expensive is takai.
So takaku narimasu.
Yeah, this year it is becoming more expensive. If you wanted to say this year it has become more expensive, what would you say then?
Okay. Kotoshi ryoku wa takaku narimashita?
Yeah, perfect. Exactly. Kotoshi ryoku wa takaku narimashita. Good. Thanks, Max. Luke. Hello.
Yes, sir.
How would you say?
Let me have a sip.
Oh, okay. So how about this then? Recently, which is saikin, wine has become very cheap.
Saikin?
Saikin,
wine wa yasashi.
Wine has become friendly. Yes, I believe Hilda has been complaining that you've been a bit too friendly with wine.
What? Yasui, yeah. Yasuku. What was the sentence again?
Recently, wine has become very cheap.
Has become, yeah. Past tense. So, saiku wine wa yasuku narimashita.
Yeah, so saikin is recently.
Saikin with an N.
Yes, yeah. Can you say that one more time, please?
Saikin aka no wine wa yasuku narimashita.
Good. Saikin aka wine, this means red wine. Saikin aka wine wa yasuku narimashita. Good.
Saikin.
Yes. David, how about how about recently Japanese has become very difficult?
最近日本語は難しいなりました。
Not 難しいに。
難しいなりました。
No, there's something missing. 難しい。
難しく。
Yes, good.
最近日本語は難しくなりました。
Good. 最近日本語は難しくなりました。Good. Thanks, David.
そうだね。
そうですね。はい。Piers, how would you say? So the word for news is boringly. It's just news, news, news. And the word for scary is kowai, kowai, kowai. How would you say? Recently, the news has become scary.
最近、ニュース怖くなりました。
So news wa. Let's have that bit first. 最近ニュースは
ニュースは、怖くなりました。
怖くなりました。Good, yeah. 最近のニュースは怖くなりました。Good, thanks, Piers. Roger, how would you say? 難しい、高い、安い、暑い、寒い。What have we done? So if you want to say my salary has reduced, you would use my salary has become lower. So salary is, you can either say salary, but more correct would be kyuryo. Kyuryo. You want to write that down? Kyuryo. Kyuryo. And lower is hikui. Hikui, or low rather. Low is hikui. So how would you say, recently my salary has reduced?
最近私の給料は低くなりました。
Hikui. Yes, good.
なりました。
Yeah, good. 最近私の給料は低くなりました。Good. Thanks, Roger. Joseph, how would you say? Last year, my Iaido got better. Last year, my Iaido got better.
去年、僕のIaidoは良くなりました。
Yeah, good. 去年、私のIaidoは良くなりました。If you were talking casually to your friends, Joseph, how would you say my Iaido has become more skillful? You know this one. It's an E adjective.
去年、僕のIaidoは良くなった。
Okay, good. And there's another way of saying skillful rather than just well. うまい。
うまくなかった。
Yeah, うまく
になった。うまくなった。
うまくなった。So, or you can say うまくなりました。うまくなりました。Good. Paya, how would you say? Oh, I know. This year, my hair has got longer.
今年、私の髪は、長くなりました。
Good. So if you want to say like hairstyle, this is kaminoke. Kaminoke. Yeah. So can you say one more time?
今年、私の髪の毛は長くなりました。
Good. So the word long is?
長い。
長い. Good. Yes, exactly. Good. Well done. Elena. So in contrast, because I can see that Peter's been cutting your hair, how about saying, this year my hair has got shorter?
This year.
Yeah.
去年last year. 今年。
Yes.
今年私の髪の毛短くなりました。
Good, yeah. 今年私の髪の毛が短くなりました。So the E adjective is what in this case, Elena? What's short in just the adjective? 短い. Good, excellent, good. Thanks, Elena. Tuche. So let's say, as the sun is shining on your face, Tuche, your face is becoming whiter. So how would you say, now my face is becoming whiter? My face is becoming whiter.
今は私の青
Kal.
Shiroku narimasu.
Good, yeah. Watashi no kao ga shiroku narimasu. So what you can hear, guys, is that a lot of colors are also E adjectives. So white is shiroi. You should know red from Miyaido. This is akai. So we can just, again, change the E at the end and make it shiroku. So, Tucha, can you say one more time, please?
今、私の顔、白くなります。
Yes, good. 今、私の顔が白くなります。My face is becoming white. Good. And Emmanuel, you're the last one. Let's say... my t-shirt is getting redder. No, my t-shirt has become more red. My t-shirt has become more red.
Oh, but
so t-shirt is t-shatsu. T-shatsu.
T-shatsu, okay.
And then has become red.
Has become. Let me check. Red, okay.
Good. Yeah. Okay. Good.
More red.
Yes. So turn. Emmanuel.
No.
Make akai into an adverb. So turn akai into an adverb. Yeah, akaku, good. Akaku. And then has become. So narimas is will become.
Will become.
But so this, if I said it will become.
Akaku narimashita.
Yeah, good. Watashi no t-shirts wa akaku narimashita. Excellent. Good. Whew, Nihongo wa hontou ni muzukashiku narimashita ne.
Need to work on.
Good.
How do you say more red?
Okay, right. So this is what we did this morning, guys. This isn't necessary to remember, but let's do it as a bonus point. If you want to say more, the what's it called? The prefix is moto. So my t-shirt has become more red. I would say, watashi no t-shirtsu wa motto akaku narimashita. Motto akaku narimashita. Okay, good. Guys, your ability to have structure in your sentence, so your grammar use has massively increased over the last 2 weeks, and it means we can now actually put new words into the sentence structure and put them in context instead of learning lists of words which you won't remember. It's much better to do it like this. So this is why I focused on the grammar first, so we can make quite interesting sentences and put new words in there. So watashi no t-shirts wa motto akaku narimashita. It's much easier to remember vocabulary like this instead of just learning parrot fashion. Okay, do you want to unmute yourselves a second, guys?
Right.
So I know that we've covered quite a lot of things this evening. The most important things to remember, the objectives of today were converting E adjectives into the negative, the past tense, and the negative past tense, and using adverbs to say, I will go quickly to Tokyo, and then using this adverb form, this ku form, to say something comes something. So atsuku narimasu. If you can remember the rules for those elements of the language, then you've passed 100% today. Anything else that you remember, like moto or amari or nakanaka, this is just bonus stuff that we will use and I'll introduce to you in the next few weeks. Do you have any questions or problems you want to ask before we finish?
A question related, not related. What's the difference between arimas and narimas?
Arimas and narimas?
Yeah. Arimas. Arimas a lot.
Oh, okay. So narimas means to become. Yeah. Arimas means it exists. Or there is. So if I wanted to say, I have a phone, I would say, Keitai ga arimasu. Watashi wa keitai ga arimasu. There is a phone, which means I have one. Keitai ga arimasu. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And but about people, you will say imasu.
Yes. So if I wanted to say I am at home, I would say ie ni imasu. So you can only use arimasu for inanimate objects, for non-living objects. If you were talking about animate objects like people or animals, not plants, because plants are just food, right? But animals and people is imasu, arimasu and imasu. Good.
Although some people really look inanimate.
Yeah, especially when the internet stops working. Especially, yeah.
Or if they don't know how to use all their high-tech equipment.
Yeah.
David.
Don't. Well, most of this is switched off. It's too high now. It's 36 degrees in there. Small question about colours. So, akai, aoi, midori.
So yeah, so there are some colours which aren't e-adjectives like midori and murasaki. In that case, you treat it as a na adjective. So midori is actually a noun, as is murasaki. It's a noun. Okay. So you would. I know this is weird. Some colours are e-adjectives, clear e-adjectives, and some are actually nouns, which is weird. But that's because murasaki was the name for the dye that used to be used for making things
out of the plant.
Purple. Yep. Yeah, exactly. And midori means greenery, means trees and grass and plants. But in that case, you would use ni because it's a noun, ni, and midori, we use
ni. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and we treat it as a na adjective, or you can just say murasaki zubon. You know, you can kind of treat it as a neutral adjective, really. Yeah.
I have a question about another session. It was, your embu looks good. It was, I embu wa misete kudasaimashita.
Yep.
The verb kudasaimashita, is it group one verb, kudasamaru? What's the infinitive of kudasaimashita? Because it's aimashita. It doesn't fit my...
How much time do you have? So I'll explain it in really simple to understand terms. There are some Japanese verbs which don't actually have an infinitive. So in fact, the infinitive of kudasaimasu is kureru, and then kureru. Then the next level of politeness up is kuremasu, and then the next level above that is kudasaimasu. So there isn't like a kudasao or kudasairu. There's kureru, kuremasu, and kudasaimasu. Yeah.
So I have to learn it and I can't use the rules.
Yeah, this is one of those kind of extra bits of verbiage which you just have in your toolbox, and yeah, you can just say kudasaimasu. Yeah.
It's like an exception.
It is a bit of an exception. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that in older Japanese language there probably was some kind of infinitive of something like kudasai, but it's gone now. Nobody uses it. Kudasai has become a term which means please give me. Yeah. So a bit like onegai. Onegai shimasu. Yeah. But I won't go into it now. Onegai used to have an infinitive by itself, onegaimasu, and now that's been lost and it's become onegai shimasu. Yeah.
Yeah, we shimasu from do.
Yeah. Cool. Any other questions, guys?
Yeah, related to the totemo thing. If you use taihen, does it always mean negative connotations? Or
it does, yeah.
Always.
Pretty much. So what Paya is saying, guys, is as well as totemo, you can use taihen as a...
Hello?
I assume
Is
that
it
was
me
wrong.
you're looking for?
You can use taihen, but this usually means something with a negative connotation. So you could say, Kyou wa taihen atsui desu. It's really hot. Taihen samui desu. If you use taihen with a positive sounding adjective, taihen, there are some cases that you can use it.
Taihen omoshiroi.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's weird to say this.
Well, it doesn't mean very interesting. It means more, almost kind of more interesting than I was expecting. Yeah. Yeah, 大変面白いです. Or more interesting than you would think. It's probably a better way of thinking it. If you can use it in a positive connotation, but bear in mind it's got a slightly stronger meaning than just very. Yeah.
Are you trying to describe your conversation with Al?
That's taihen every time, yeah.
Yeah, just taihen. Huh? Taihen desu. Yeah. Cool. Any other questions, guys?
No.
Excellent. Well, enjoy your evenings. What's left of it? Enjoy the warmth. Enjoy the weekend tomorrow. It is a weekend tomorrow, isn't it? Yeah. Is it a bank holiday tomorrow?
Friday tomorrow.
Just Friday. There isn't a bank holiday, is there?
No. There is for me.
Not in Belgium.
Yeah. Yeah, there is for me as well. Okay. はい、ありがとうございました。Oh, Piers, did you have a question? Hang on. Okay, cool. Take care. Ciao.
Ciao.
Bye.
Ciao. Thank you.
Thank you.
じゃあね。じゃあね。お疲れ様でした。